Hello, and welcome to the Table and Well podcast. I'm Tennison.
And I'm Ginelle. Thank you for joining us as we discuss topics and give practical tools that help you live, grow, and be in healthy, joy-filled relationship with God, yourself, and others.
For more information and resources, or if you're looking for coaching, connection, and community, please visit tableandwellco.com. We hope you enjoy this podcast. Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the Table and Well podcast. This is episode number 37 of season 2. And as always, guys, please feel free to download and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite listening platform. And if you wanted to watch the podcast, maybe you are watching it right now, you can do that on our YouTube channel, which is Table and Well Co. So we are still in our series of Living with God, which is a walk through the book With by Skye Jethani. And I just want to encourage you, if you have not listened to the previous podcast, walking us up into where we are today, I want to encourage you to go back and do that. This has been a great series, and we're just really excited to bring this to you. So, but before we jump into our podcast, I do want to take a little bit of time to talk to you about some other things that we do here at Table and Well, and talk to you about our labs. And so our labs are our online, highly interactive small group coaching sessions or coaching labs, where we focus on skills that are proven to heal, to transform, and to deepen your relationship with God, yourself, and others. I mean, really, that is the core of what we do here at Table and Well, is really helping us to live relationally connected and relationally mature with God, yourself, and others. And so we offer two different types of labs. We do have our intro lab, which is actually the foundation, the beginning space where you will learn 3 key skills that will truly change how you do relationships. It is a mini lab. It is 4 weeks long. And just as a first step, encourage you to take that and see what we're all about and learn some skills that will really, truly change how you interact with people around you. And then we do have our full co-lab, which is our 24-week skill-based lab, where we teach relational maturity and what does it look like for us to be fully who God designed us to be. When you walk through this lab, you're going to experience and practice and to begin to master living life relationally well. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want to have a space, have a community, have us be who God designed us to be, and be fully mature in every age and stage of life. So if you want more information, you go to our website, which is tableandwellco /collabs, and check it out. And you can also message us there too, and we'd love to hear from you and to respond to your questions. So let's go ahead and jump into the continuation of our conversation on the posture of with. This is going to be the end of that conversation that Ginelle and I started last week. So again, guys, if you have not gone back and listened to the episodes, I want to encourage you to do that. So here we go. Here is episode 37 and our series, Living with God.
We were missing the heart connection, the deep heart connection completely.
Yeah. And so in saying that too, we understood treasure. Mm-hmm. We understood unite. Mm-hmm. But we didn't quite understand experience.
Yeah.
And living in the experience of one another.
Right.
And so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like when you experience God as this part of being with him? And to me, that experience is the with. Mm-hmm. That's the actual with. These are the components, kind of like, these are the components of with. Mm-hmm. But again, it's like anything. If it's 3 parts and you don't get a third part, you don't get it.
Right. Well, even in the scenario where we're talking about this uniting with God and uniting with one another, mm-hmm. like that could be left off the table.
Yeah.
Right? And we could be spending lots of energy having face-to-face time with God and not taking it anywhere outside of that.
Yeah.
Right? Not accessing all the amazing things we have in the kingdom because we don't believe ourselves worthy often.
Yep.
So there is this flip side too of like, no, your life is mine and my life is yours. And I understand that to a great depth.
Yes.
That's not off the table. That's completely on the table. Mm-hmm. And we get to do it face to face.
Both.
Both and. Yeah.
So what does it look like to do life with him? I mean, that, you know, we talked through a couple of different things. There's this idea of inviting him into your every moment. Like, literally, again, what does it look like to have an intimate relationship with someone you love? What does that look like? It's not, you know, you mentioned earlier about going to work. So, like, yes, we're united, and then I go to work, but you don't go to work with me.
Right.
You don't experience that with me. We even talked about us, you know, in our marriage personally. Like, we would do things and have great moments, but we wouldn't experience them together.
Yeah, necessarily, right? But you going out and doing that and bringing that back was really powerful.
It's powerful.
We talk about that.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting on a tangent
here,
but
yeah.
But the point being is that even though I'm not physically with you at work, I'm with you.
Yes.
Like, you can work all day and maybe not, or I can work all day and not necessarily think of you every moment of that day.
Right.
But there is not a moment that goes by that I don't know that you are an integral part of my life.
Yes.
That my heart is tied to yours. That my experience at work carries actually part of your DNA.
Yeah.
And your experience at work carries part of my DNA.
Yep.
Like, I'm there and influencing that space through you because of all of our time spent together, all of our face-to-face time spent together. And it should be the same thing with God, is that when we're in our workspaces, when we're in our families, when we're wherever, folding laundry, doing life with God is understanding that He is present within us at all times. His DNA should be leaking out of us in that way. And it's not, again, this isn't a conscious, like, did I share a scripture with somebody today?
Right,
you know, it really is the fact that this revelation that we got with our kids of, there's a part of me that currently lives in New York City.
Yes. Yep.
Because my daughter lives there. Like, when she goes to other places and she just is herself in a space. Part of herself is me.
Yes.
Right? Because there's all this face-to-face time spent. And so therefore she is replicating me in other spaces. Like, that's kind of a wild thought that we don't talk about ever.
Yeah.
But that's the concept here. We won't go a ton into the brain science, but I can't help myself because we're in the process of buttoning up some of our curriculum for the collabs. And one of the things we talk about is mirror neurons.
Yes.
And how the whole way we know how to act, how to function in this world, how to be the people we are, what builds our identity is face-to-face time with others.
Yeah.
So that is what creates us.
Yeah.
And when we talk about living life with God and living life face-to-face, it is this concept of we become who we are and we carry His DNA into spaces because we've spent face-to-face time
with Him. Yep.
And remember, too, that we want to turn this into a formal religious program. That's what we end up doing.
We try it all the time. Yep.
So what we're not saying is face-to-face time looks like 30 minutes in the morning.
Right. Nope.
Reading your Bible and doing this and that. That can be an option.
Yep.
Nothing against that.
Yep. However,
if my only relationship with my children was to sit down and say, okay, we're going to formally learn right now what it is to be my child and what it is for you to, how it is for you to act in this world and for blah, 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 blah.
Right. That doesn't work. Yeah.
Like, that would be dead. There would not be relationship in that.
Not at all.
Right? That could be done and it could be void of relationship and they will have learned nothing.
Yeah.
They learned who they are and how it is for them to act while we were folding laundry, while we were cooking, while we were riding in the car, just being together.
Yeah. And that concept of with too, I think, is like being with God and like being with your kids, being with your spouse, being with your friends, your loved ones. It's resting together. Yeah. It's playing together. It's working together. It's doing all the things that we do on a daily basis together. You know, inviting people into that space. Like, even, you know, if you even look at like discipleship models or how you decide, like we call it discipleship or relational or leading through modeling and invitation, but it's the idea of come along with me.
Yeah, relational
discipleship. Come along with me.
Yeah.
And just be with me.
Do life with me. That's what Jesus did. Jesus didn't sit them down and was like, okay,
here's all the rules.
He's like, come walk with me, work with me. Matthew 11:20-30 is so beautiful in the Message translation, in the way that it says, come walk with me and work with me. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace.
Yeah.
Like, understand how I do it. Watch me. Understand how I do it. Yeah. And it's this beautiful, like, that is life with God.
Yes.
It can be in a devotional time. It can be in intentional worship, intimacy.
Yes.
What we would know as intimate worship, or whatever our verbiage might be. But what we're challenging here is are you in space with him constantly?
Yeah. Is he, I've said this so many times, I probably said it on the podcast, I maybe said it last week, I don't remember. But it's the idea of Jesus at the center. Mm-hmm. We have this idea that there's a list. I say it all the time. There's a list, like God, family, ministry, and God's at the top. There's God at the top. He's at the top of your list. I had a revelation where he doesn't want to be at the top of your list. He wants to be in the center of everything that you do. Right. So when he's in the middle of everything that you do, mm-hmm. then you're with him in everything that you do. Right. There is this idea of I'm doing life literally with you, because you are in and through everything. Yeah. You are with me in everything, and I want you with me in everything I do. Right. It's not this list thing. It's all encompassing. Right. Doing life with him, all encompassing. Yeah. And it isn't the separating out of like, okay, well, I spent time with you this morning, and so now moving on. Yeah. No more than it would be for us spending time together, and now it's like, and now moving on. The rest of my day has nothing to do with you. No. Oof, that wouldn't be a very good relationship. Now there may be plenty of times where we spend time together, mm-hmm. and then you're like, bye, I'm going golfing. Right. I don't go golfing with you. Yeah. But somehow I'm with you in the midst of that. Yeah. And you don't separate me out and leave me behind somewhere. Not as if you don't compartmentalize. But we do that with God all the time. Easily. Yeah. And I even actually checked in at the table this last week as, was it last week or the week before? I know. We do quite a few tables and check-ins. So anyway, but I checked in with a sense of being with. Yes. That this is true to who we are, that if we're going to teach something, it's because we're living it. We're living it out. And if we're not, and we're always learning how to live it better, whatever it is that we're teaching. Even the stuff that we've taught 7,000 times over now. Yes. So in this, one of the things that I've really been practicing is, how am I living life with him? Where do I find myself kind of maybe leaving him behind, compartmentalizing him, forgetting about him, not paying attention that he is actively a part of me. A part of it, yeah. And a part of this moment. Mm-hmm. We so often like to use language like, we invite you here. And it's like, okay, well, He's here. Now, granted, like, I think there's some powerful language around saying, like, and I want you here, right? Here. Like, I acknowledge you're here. Right. There's a difference between us being in the same room together. Yep. And then us actually acknowledging, like, hey, we're here together in this space. I see you in this space. And I see you in this space. Right. Yep. Big difference. But it's not that he needs to be welcomed or invited because he's like off in the... He's off somewhere over there. Yeah. We this is always a great test, one that I heard about this a long time ago, but when you close your eyes and you picture God, where is he? Where is he in your mind, if you could picture him? And if you take a moment to do that, it's so interesting to realize where we put him in proximity to us. That's really good. I noticed when that practice was first invited to me that he was really, really far away. And I didn't really have a belief truth in me that, he's actually right here with me. And I've had to work through that because I was taught for so long that he really is a guy up in heaven on a throne doing the thing, and deciding all these things, right? Right. And I'm pointing to my list of like whether or not he's going to give me things, right, or take care of me or whatever. But understanding that he's with me, I can miss the moments even with you where we're in a room together and we'll have spent time together in a room and have not connected about the fact that we just did that with one another, that we experienced that together, like, and we can be within 2 feet of each other. And I think that's the same thing with God. Are we experiencing this with him? Have we touched him? Like, in real time. In real time, have we been able to, have we in real time quieted and saw he's here with me. Yeah. And acknowledge that he's here with me. Yeah. That he wants to be here with me. And that he is here. And that we're doing this together with one another. Yes. In relational connection. Yeah. One of the things I noticed me doing last
in the last few weeks is flowing in conversation with him like I flow in conversation with you.
That's cool.
So as we've been having conversations of working on different projects that we're working on in Table and Well, in this flow of versus saying, gosh, we need to XYZ, just saying, hey Lord, this is what we're working on right now. And we just, like, if there's anything you have to say, like, let's make this a conversation between us.
Yeah.
That it's not that I'm going to go figure it out and bring it back to you for your approval or pray and ask that you'll somehow like send revelation from the ethereal skies,
right.
But that we can actually operate in real time together, just like you and I would say, okay, hey, let's talk about this. Let's have a conversation about this. Remembering that he's right there and available to have conversation has been really powerful, and it's felt very connecting for me.
I love
in the way that it becomes this flow of like, oh, hey, just like I would say to you, oh, hey, blah, 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 and not think about that being a formal conversation with you, right? It's just, it is, because we are.
Yeah. So that's really good. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay. I thought I cut you off.
No, but I do have one more thought, except for I lost it.
Oh, sorry. Well, that happens too sometimes. But what I was going to say was just in what you were saying, that actually is encouraging, even challenging to me, because that's not something that I make a practice of. And I need to do that. I think that, just remembering that he's there and remembering that he's with me and I'm with him, and literally just having, like you said, that flow conversation of like, hey, Lord, what do you want me to know about this? And how, and we teach that, and we do our own sometimes, but I think that's really powerful. And I encourage you guys that are watching or listening, try that. Just do that. Just take moments during the day and just invite him in, and remember that, not invite him in, acknowledge that he's there.
Right.
And just have the conversation and see, is there anything that he wants to give you, or he wants to input into that space that you're in. And
or even just feel his presence.
Yeah.
Like one of our goofy things that we like to do is watch cooking shows.
We do. Love cooking shows.
But we can sit together to watch a cooking show and literally be in our own space and head, like separate from each other. And just a simple like reach out and touch and hold a hand is like, all right, we're in this space together.
Yes. Yep.
Like, it's been a really long day and we have no words left, but here we are together. We're actually together.
Yeah.
And I think that's also with God. It's just this simple of like, hey God, I don't really have any words. I'm not even asking for anything. There's nothing I need. I just let's acknowledge that we're in this together, that we're here together. You're with me. And I'm going to take just a moment to say, oh, there you are. Yep. There you are. You're right here with me.
Powerful practice.
A super powerful practice. What does it look like to reach out and touch God and remember that he is present with you?
Yeah.
This is something that we actually do in a really tangible way, something called Emmanuel.
Yep.
And the Emmanuel process, where we go back with people through coaching and take them back into moments of their lives where God has been present, because we believe and know that he is always present, but we're not always aware of his presence.
Yeah.
And there's this beautiful way for us to go back and see him in different times and spaces, some of them traumatic, some of them amazing, just happy moments. And gosh, what would it be like if we could actually really experience that in real time? What if that was what it was like to live with God? Is not just going back and seeing him where he was in a space 10 years ago, but taking long enough to just acknowledge that he's here with us now. And it doesn't have to be a religious wild thing. It's just stop.
Just quiet, stop, and just breathe and just say, where are you? Where are you in the space? I see you. I know you're here. Where are you in the space?
I love taking time to picture him at a table with me when I'm eating, or in the front seat of my car when I'm driving, realizing that he is that close. And it's not about him doing, it's about him being and me being and us being. That is really what life with is all about. We like to turn the Christian walk into this like wild Mission Impossible where God only gets involved when we're out, like
we're doing the quote unquote extraordinary.
Yeah. That he's like somehow put us on this incredible mission, and he only joins us when we're on it, and if we're not on it, he's somewhere else busy with people who are.
Right.
And Is this life mission impossible? Maybe. But so is every day.
Yeah. And what if he's the mission?
What if he's the mission? Yeah. What if he is not only the treasure, the one we're united with, but he is the one that we experience in and out of every single moment of our lives.
Yep.
We dream of the days that we get to heaven.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And because we will get to be with him always.
Yeah, that's the promise.
It is. But it's a promise for today.
Yes.
It's not a promise for one day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yes, there will be some tangibility that may be different there. We don't actually fully know.
Right.
But what we do know is that we can experience him today. Today. We can experience being with him today.
Yes.
We get to experience doing with him.
Yeah.
That's also an option, but may we never do it without him.
You've been listening to the Table and Well podcast. New episodes stream every Tuesday. To begin your journey to relational health, go to tableandwell.org/IRH to join our Intro to Relational Health Lab. This is our free 4-week mini course where you will learn skills and practices that will transform the way you engage with relationships. So for more information or resources, go to tableandwell.org.